iZombie Season 3, Episode 10, Return of the Dead Guy. Now first off, I want to apologize for this review being so incredibly late. Normally I'm not behind, especially with no other shows being on, but thanks to my stupid car getting a flat tire, I lost like 3 straight days worth of time, so I forgot this show. Like, I was so distraught trying to figure out how to buy a new tire that I completely forgot I even missed the episode until I was watching something last night, and I was like, oh crap, because I saw the promo for the next episode, and I was like, I didn't watch iZombie, so that's why this review is so incredibly late. I spent like 3 straight days because of one flat tire, like trying to figure out, you know, how to get to work, and then buying new tires, and then all this other crap. So it took up a bunch of time, and I was just like so stuck on that, totally forgot I missed the episode. But it was a great episode, that's for sure. Like, it was a really fun episode, leading into what I have to assume, based on the promo at least, is going to be an even better episode. It felt like this episode could have easily been leading up to like a season finale episode, especially with the stuff that they show off in the promo, because I was like, wow, that seems intense. I kind of doubt anyone will actually die, but it seems to be like this weird back and forth where, you know, Blaine seems to get captured in the next episode and we don't know what happens with everyone else, but it all starts, you know, coming from the end of the last episode where, of course, Don E ends up being captured. Ravi ends up going with the gun-toting guys, I forgot what they even call themselves, but he's with them. He tells everyone that he's kind of gone off to London because his parents wanted to renew their wedding vows and stuff, so he's got some time to try to figure out how in the world do we end up escaping this situation. He's dealing with Donnie, who's freaking out because he doesn't have any brains, so he's like, I'm getting really hungry. He's going like full Romero zombie, and it was really well done, and I just love what they did. And there was some stuff that happened in here where I was like, okay, you know, outside of this storyline, actually, some stuff was within it. Some stuff had to do with other storylines, but they're like, all right, there's an answer that it's a theory at this point, but I feel like I got an answer in this episode about a certain character, and then some questions came up about another character, both of which are brand new characters. So the first one that I believe I have an answer for is the girl that Ravi talked to after he first went to that meeting, and she shows up at the end of this episode, like, you know, I had to see for myself, you know, our female journalist. And I was like, okay, well, she doesn't seem as bad as everyone else. It seems like they're doing a little bit more than just the journalistic thing. Like, something might be going on here. And I think I figured it out. And I think it's the fact that she wants to learn what can be done because someone in her family is turned into a zombie. And maybe they've gone like full Romero, because she does ask Ravi, like, is there any way to bring someone back once they've gone that far? So I feel like someone in her family is either currently a zombie or like a full Romero zombie. So I'm like, okay. Not 100% sure what to really expect from her, but that's kind of my theory at this point as to why, you know, she was asking so many questions and why she's so upset by it, because it's like, it's still a person, and, you know, Ravi, of course, is like, he actually knows this person, but for her, I feel like that's a part of it. Like, she talks about the journalistic aspect, but I feel like she might have a personal attachment to how you can actually change someone from zombie back to human. So that's my theory for her. The other person that some questions came up for is the woman that Major is sleeping with. I can't think of her name right now, but they have this moment where they're like, oh yeah, I used to go to this camp all the time, and, you know, he starts singing the song, and she's like, you know, I'm going to record it, but she was taking pictures, and I don't know if that was a totally random thing that they didn't really realize that she was taking pictures and not doing video, or if that was like, we don't want video because when you record things that are actually in video, you can see the lines. So I don't know if that was a production thing or if that was meant to be like a little clue, but she was taking pictures of him that wasn't a video. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's supposed to be something or if that was just a random fluke and it actually didn't mean anything. But I'm like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be suspicious or not. But right now I am. So I was like, you know, it seemed weird, like, why not just actually record it, but it could have just been a production thing. I did want to mention that, though, because I'm like, I'm not 100% sure if that was, like, a clue story-wise, or if that was just 100% random, and she just took pictures instead of video, because, like I said, when you record things on video, you can see the lines, and that's distracting. So, I don't know if that was the case or what the deal was, but it made me really suspicious. They do also seem to be super close, and that in itself was super suspicious to me, where it's just like, you know, I know she talked about being accused of something that she'd never done, and if he wanted, you know, just someone to kind of listen to him and stuff, it was like, okay, that's simple, but it does make me wonder. Like, they did start doing it, like, instantaneously, so there's some questions there. I don't know if that's an ulterior motive on her end, or if that's just who she's going to be, but I am somewhat suspicious of her character at this point, but she hasn't really done anything too crazy outside of, like I said, that scene where it's like she's supposed to do video, but she's taking pictures, and it was just like, I don't know if that was meant to be something, but thought it was worth mentioning. Of course, Liv's storyline was pretty interesting, where of course she's seeing her ex-boyfriend, who she killed, and now she feels guilty about it, and it led to some pretty funny stuff. Like in the very beginning, they go through the process of, you know, her trying to figure out what happened with this Weckler case. Like, did he kill this dominatrix or what happened? Turns out he actually did. It was like the first vision she had, and it was like, yep, he actually killed her. And I was like, oh, well, I guess case closed. And then she has more visions as time goes on, and it's like, okay, he did actually kill her, but he was killed in prison. He didn't kill himself. So someone killed him. We don't ever see any of these visions, which I thought was funny. They make a point in this episode. Like, they do the sound effect and stuff when she has the vision, but she's just, like, frozen in place and everyone's kind of just doing their thing around her. So I like how they played around with that this episode. But she has a vision that he was hung, and it ends up being one of the guards. They can't seem to find this guy. They end up finding him, and it turns out that he got a buttload of money, went on a cruise with his wife, and poof, he fell overboard, and that's all there is to it. So there's a lot of suspicious stuff going on there. And then they kind of blow the whole thing open where it's like, oh, these, you know, they go talk to this young girl. It's like, you know, hey, we want to ask you some questions. And her friend's like, her shadow for a minute is like, what is her deal? And it turns out both these girls are zombies, and they know, well, they didn't know that Liv was working, you know, with the cops. So it was like, all right, so maybe they're not Fillmore Graves. Because that was my big thing where I was like, okay, bunch of zombies, a bunch of weird conspiracies, maybe something's going on. The only real big organizations we've had are Max Rager and Fillmore Graves. So I was like, I assumed had to be Fillmore Graves. They have the tube paste, so that must be the case, but maybe there's someone within Fillmore Graves that's actually doing this, and so it'll still be related to Fillmore Graves. It'll just be someone else doing some other secret plan within the organization, because these girls, and I don't, you know, they probably wouldn't know, because, you know, why would it be like, hey, everyone, this is Liv, she's a zombie, she works for the cops. So it was just interesting. It was like, this definitely ties into Fillmore Graves in some way, shape, or form, but we still don't have like the grand mystery as to, or the grand answer to this mystery as to why this guy was killed after he was already sent to prison and stuff like that. Like, he already did what he was told to do, and then they still killed him, and that was probably just for insurance purposes. And then, most likely, you know, they say he had a few drinks and fell off the boat, but most likely, they killed the guy that, you know, killed Weckler. So it was like, man, there's a lot of weird things going on, and now it's officially tied to Fillmore Graves, because those girls had the tube brain. So I was like, okay, this is tied to Fillmore Graves, but now it's the question of, you know, what's going on? Like, were these girls somehow involved in it? Because that kind of seemed to be the main thing, and it was hard to say. It was like, I don't know if this girl knew that her father was killed, because she was probably playing them. It was like, how do you know my dad wasn't killed, or who did it? And then it's like, okay, they're doing some investigations into my dad's death, and I feel like she knew that he was going to die. She knows exactly what's going on. So it's like, it's still a mystery, but we're getting a little bit closer. It's like, all right, at least we know now, officially, Fillmore Graves is somehow involved in this Weckler case, and we'll see, you know, we'll start to see how that builds up, you know, throughout the rest of the season, which apparently, because I forgot this, there's like 2 episodes left, which that blew my freaking mind, or 3 episodes left, I think. So we're pretty much at the end anyway, so I'm assuming we're going to get some answers very soon. But I thought that was a great way to kind of end out the Weckler case for this episode, and I thought that was really well done. And then the other side of that, of course, was Liv, once again, seeing her boyfriend and how she had to go through the process of basically forgiving herself for what happened, because he was full Romero and stuff. But I love the way they ended it, where she's like making out with him and saying like, this is goodbye. And then, of course, they come in and it's like, hey, what's, you know, how's things going? And it was just a funny sequence. So I love that. But whole episode I thought was really well done. And like I said, Ravi dealing with Don E, which was really great. And the scene where he's like, you know, the phone's between my butt cheeks and stuff, and he tries to bite him. And he was like, I'm sorry, I'm just super hungry. And now that I think about it, the phone's actually just in my socks. I'm like, how do you mix that up? So that was really freaking funny, man. I love that sequence. But, you know, Blaine ends up going to Liv and is like, hey, you want to kick some ass? So they go in, they're going to save their friends, and we'll see how that plays out in the next episode. But we also have Stacey coming in, Stacey Boss. He comes in, his first move is to actually go to Blaine. That fails, and he tries it twice too. I love the fact that he shot him when he first showed up. he gets taken down, and then he's like, I'll reject this offer, and he stabs him in the neck, and he's like, he thought that would do the trick, and of course it's like, oh, well, this doesn't work. So, which I don't know if this is a good idea, but Blaine decides to keep him alive because he's more interested in the money aspect. But sometimes you just gotta be like, that dude is way too dangerous. He hates you, and as much as he loves money, and granted, he doesn't know the idea of, you kill a zombie, stab it in the brain or shoot in the brain, that's game over. But I feel like if he got the opportunity, it's like, okay, we have this amazing business established now, I'll just do that. I'll just shoot you in the head, and it's game over. Or, because I thought Blaine was going to, like, instantly turn him into a zombie, but that wasn't the case. So, I don't know. Like, I don't trust the fact that he kept him alive. Like what he did with Donnie, he was like, okay, I get that. Donnie is cool. He's like, his whole thing was like, hey, if you're faking, you could have just told me. Like, he even comes at him to tell him it's cool. But this is a dude who tried to kill him, this being the second time in this episode alone. I'm just like, I don't really think it's a good idea to keep him alive in any way, shape, or form. It's not like with his dad where he's torturing him or anything like that, or keeping him in a well, which even that, I was like, that's going to backfire on him for sure. So, I don't know. This dude's not going to be happy, and he will probably still end up going after Peyton. So we'll see how that plays out once that ends up ultimately getting revealed. But great episode. Very excited for this next one. Of course, we'd love to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And based on what we saw from the promo in this next episode, I would love to know how you guys think things are going to play out. Like, will we actually end up losing a character in this next episode? Will Blaine actually be killed? Who's going to escape? Whose identity is going to be kept secret? Because it's hard to say, like, are they going to officially know that Ravi is with the zombies? Like, I know he stood there and he was kind of still playing it up like, hey, the whole point of this was to stop zombies and, like, find a cure for us, not just wipe them out, because that doesn't actually help stop it in the future. So it was like, he was still kind of playing the doctor side where they don't know he's obviously, like, here, and here is with zombies. So there's still a secret element to that where it's like, he could somehow find a way to get out of it, but personally I think it's kind of all said and done. It's going to be pretty soon. I mean, we're 3 episodes. So I assume we're going to be kind of full-on war within the next 2, and then, who the heck knows when you're with the season finale. But we'd love to know your theories on how things are going to play out in this next episode, if everyone will live, who will die. And of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this one in general, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.